up, YouTube? It's your boy X back to you again with another video today, and today we're going to be talking about tips for darker skin tattoo clients. The way I'm going to lay out this video is first we're going to talk about the different factors that come into play when you're looking to get a high quality tattoo as a personal color, and then we're going to move into the different style choices, the different tattoo style choices that are best suited for you based on your particular skin type. So let's get into this content. The first thing we're going to talk about is that needs to be understood is that there are restrictions in what's possible stylistically based on how dark your skin tone is. The darker a person is, the more restrictions will apply, and vice versa. The lighter you are, the more flexibility and more freedom you're going to have with the styles that you're going to be able to choose that are going to produce a high quality tattoo. So that doesn't mean you can't get a high quality tattoo, because you definitely can, but you should approach it with a more flexible state of mind and more of an open mind, and be more open to other styles that are going to be more suited towards your skin type. Now, the next thing that we want to talk about is legibility. Legibility plays a very strong factor in how high quality a tattoo you can receive. And what legibility is how clear you or another person can see your tattoo. So for example, if you're looking across a room and you're looking at someone's arm, you're looking at two people across the room, you're looking at their arm, and you can see one person's tattoo extremely clearly, but you can't see the other person's tattoo. That would be legibility. The person that you can see clearly from across the room has a high level of legibility, versus the person that you can't see clearly across the room has a lower level of legibility. And the different factors that determine if you have a high legibility are size, contrast, and subject matter. So the next thing we'll move into is size. So when we're talking about tattoo sizes, for people of color, you always want to make the subject matter larger. That way, you know, it boosts the legibility, it's easier to be seen, but you can also put more detail into it to help convey the message to whoever's looking at who's ever looking at your tattoo. That's going to boost the aesthetic value, the visual aesthetic value of the piece. The next thing we're going to move into is subject matter. And it's very important to make sure that you're picking easily recognizable subject matter. If you're not familiar with subject matter, it's pretty much whatever the focal point is of your tattoo. Whatever your tattoo is, that is subject matter. So make sure you're picking the right kind of subject matter that anyone of any age could look at and easily identify. The less busy and less convoluted it is, and the more easy for the viewer to understand it, the easier it's going to be to convey, to get your point across, essentially. Because what you're trying to do, or what you want to avoid, is getting a tattoo that people are looking at and they're always asking you, well, what is that? What did you get there? And then you have to explain it to them. That can get kind of annoying, as well as you might end up regretting the tattoo you got because it wasn't legible enough, because you picked subject matter that wasn't easily identifiable enough. So the next thing we're going to move into is contrast. And what is contrast? Contrast is the juxtaposition of difference in any element of art. That could be juxtaposition of color, juxtaposition of value, juxtaposition of color temperature, that's warm versus cool tones. It could be juxtaposition of dark versus light tones, as well as how much pigment particles have been put in your skin versus juxtaposition of negative space. You can even juxtapose motifs and themes in a tattoo, but that's unrelated. What relates more to tips for darker skin clients as far as contrast goes is high contrast. For black and gray, you want the high contrast between dark and lighter tones, as well as in color, dark and lighter tones. You want to make sure that those are high, so there's lots of negative space, lots of dark tones. That way it's easily identifiable. Those two things will juxtapose nicely against each other and read extremely clearly. So for if you don't know what that means, try to think of a white piece of paper with a black dot on it, a big black circle on it. That's high contrast versus if you were to get that same white piece of paper with like a light gray, same size circle on it. That's lower contrast. What we're looking for is that bolder, more dramatic look. That's going to help to read the tattoo way more strongly across to anyone that's looking at it. So the next thing we're going to talk about are undertones. Every person has an undertone no matter what their skin tone. So the first thing that you want to do is determine what your undertone is. When it comes to color tattooing, you need to determine what your undertone is, because your undertone is going to optically mix with whatever color pigment particles you put in your skin. Those are going to optically mix with your undertone. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding your undertone's complementary color, because if you're not avoiding your complementary color, what's going to happen is your undertone and your complementary color that you put in there, you're going to be viewing these things. So this is your eye, and this is your undertone. No, this is your skin, and this is your undertone. The eye is going to be looking at the color through your skin, and here's your color. These two are going to neutralize and kind of create like a grayish color. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. When you mix two complementary colors, they kind of get muddy and dull and gray out. So you want to make sure you're not neutralizing colors and picking colors that have strong color intensity or luminosity, brightness, making sure that they're going to be bold and stand out on your skin versus colors that are going to kind of blend in and turn to mush. So the next thing that we're going to talk about with black and gray tattooing on darker skin is value. And you want to make sure that you have the right value range for your skin tone. And what is value? Value in art is simply how dark or how light a tone or object is. So in art, we have what's called a value scale, and it typically goes between 0 to 10, from lightest to darkest. And you want to make sure when you're doing black and gray on a person of color that you're starting at your particular skin tone for your lightest value. You don't want to put any values in your skin that are lighter than your existing skin tone, because you won't be able to see them once they're healed. They're not going to hold up over time, because there's no way that you can put something in your skin that's lighter than what you already have and for it to read clearly to the viewer. So the best thing you can do is to start at your skin tone and then work your way darker up the value scale. Let's see. After that, we're gonna move into style choices. So I've put together a chart that can help show you guys what's the best choice for you stylistically based on your skin type. And we'll go over that right now. Okay, so as we look at our graph here, on the left we have the tattoo styles that exist. There are sub styles that exist within those, but they still should fall under each specific category. So at the bottom we have our skin tone value that exists from 1 to 10. There are many skin tones within that, but hopefully this can help you get close to where your skin tone is to help you narrow down what styles work best for you. And at the very bottom we have our color key, and green signifies that with this specific skin tone value and the tattoo style, you will produce a strong quality tattoo for your particular skin type. The orange signifies that it will also produce a strong tattoo, but you should choose your color palette according to your skin tone so that you're not neutralizing colors and creating a muddy effect when you're looking at it later on. Our red color signifies that you should also proceed, but be careful to pick legible subject matter that's easily identifiable by the viewers. And the X signifies that the combination of the skin tone value and the style that you're looking for here, it will not produce a strong quality tattoo. So I hope that helps, and I hope that gets the point across for you. Alright, so we pretty much covered the restrictions that apply based on how dark your skin tone is. We talked about legibility, we talked about size, we talked about picking recognizable subject matter, high contrast, making sure your colors don't neutralize with the undertones, making sure you're picking the right value range for your skin type, as well as different style choice options based on your skin tone. So the last thing that I want to talk about is making sure that you're not picking artists solely on their portfolios, because if an artist says that they have the skill set to do it, I know it may feel a little off-putting just trusting someone that doesn't have a whole lot of work in their portfolio, but honestly this is very common because it's a lot harder to photograph darker skin than it is to photograph lighter skin, because once you do a fresh tattoo on darker skin, there's a whole lot more glare in the photograph than there would be on a lighter skinned person. So unfortunately that makes putting a photograph on someone who's darker in your portfolio a lot less likely than a tattoo that's on someone that's lighter. The best way to photograph a darker skin tattoo is to let that person's tattoo heal, have them come back in, and once it's healed, that level of glare is going to be non-existent at that point. So that's honestly the best time to photograph one. Unfortunately, if it's just like a one and done type situation where the client doesn't have like a pre-existing relationship with the tattoo artist, it's unlikely that they'll be back in to just to let you photograph their tattoo. So you know, I know it can be difficult trying to find artists that have the skill set to tattoo darker skin clients, but if they feel very strongly about it, that, you know, they've done this a considerable amount of times, and the rest of their work, the rest of their portfolio is very, very strong, as well as they have, you know, a considerable number of years of experience, you might want to trust them and see what they can do for you. Myself, I've been proven wrong. Like there were times where I thought that I wasn't capable of getting you know, something realistic on my skin, and you know, I was proved wrong by a couple of people, and I was extremely happy with the result. So yeah, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future content from me. Yeah, see you guys in the next one.